Alright, response video to the Modern Mystic. Probably going to be quicker than I'd like it to be, actually. I like to go on and on this subject of the brain again, and yeah, just no time for big videos to make them anyway. Uh, Deliberately, this way. So he was talking about the brain and the speed with which it works. And that in that whole life before your eyes thing during a traumatic near-death experience, and he was theorizing or extrapolating on somebody else's theory that the reason why we have that moment, which I really didn't have it the way it's described. I mean, you get that rush, obviously you get a hyper consciousness, but I don't know if your whole life, I didn't see my whole life. But anyway, so yeah, I think the thing that, I mean, just go back to the beginning. What is the brain doing? It's just reflexes. So it's just, it's two kinds of patterns. There's a pattern going in. It's reflexing. It's narrowing your sense data into something coherent, and then it's taking that, and then it has a whole bunch of set reflexive patterns that it's learned that create a reaction. So it has two elements. It's learned how to react to words and stuff in terms of creating a physiological reaction, sensations, and what we might call a thought or memory associations, and then it reacts to what the filter created. So that's what I would argue is the brain's fundamental function. In there is this segment called consciousness or awareness, where the sense data comes in and this calculated function comes out, this other learned program that's triggered. It says, okay, now we're going to go into this vocabulary thing, and we're going to write sentences, and we're going to try to express an idea. And we have the subconscious, my unknown, my forgotten brain, as Nick might put it, has an agenda. It has it all already written. It has a script almost. I mean, at least it has the outline, and it's filling in the outline as I speak. And you could just say, just from that function alone, you could recognize that, oh, my brain's working a lot faster than my consciousness thinks. What I'm doing consciously is really slow compared to what's going on behind the scenes, because it's doing all this typing and shit. It's writing all this crap I just said, and it's going to write it in a way that's going to be sometimes humorous and witty and clever, and where I'm going to get to the goal in some kind of really fancy dance kind of way. I mean, it's going to happen through this process. And so obviously the brain is, doing incredible computations to figure out how to nuance this argument just right, to wedge it in there, to get past the goalie and, score the goal. Just the way I just nuanced that sentence and said it with that inflection. It has all of that programming established, and it just runs the programs, and the programs run fast, fast, fast. And so I think, you even mentioned dreams. I think dreams are just the error code. It just shows you what it really looks like raw when it starts making stuff up. It starts compiling associations, and that's before it gets filtered. And it has to be filtered for all the stuff that we know can't happen, like talking heads and all the other crap you have in dreams that don't make any sense. So it's doing a ton of filtering. It's got to get rid of all the stupid associations, like I'll confuse the word old with bold, and mold and bold because they rhyme, and then words that don't have associations that are relevant. And I mean, it's doing all of that work in figuring out the appropriate way to use words, to have them in the right context. I mean, you could just say it's an awful lot of processing going on. So obviously our brain's working incredibly fast. All right, now to get to his thing is saying, okay, I'd like to draw a picture of it, but no one likes my pictures too much, so I'll wait till next time to do a picture. But I mean, you can just kind of see this is a loopy thing, intersecting lines, sense data comes in. Our senses don't feed it directly into consciousness. It's first interpreted by by the brain. So the brain turns the images the right way. It does some noise filtering on sounds. It does some stuff to clean the sense data, and then we experience the sense data in this thing called consciousness, and the associated connection data of triggered memories that are associated with what we're experiencing, and it is put into the consciousness, and then the consciousness essentially now can create a memory by just saying, I'm going to create a memory. Right? I can do it quite willfully, in the sense that I can run a program that says, remember this statement. There, so remember this statement. Now I have created, whether I like it or not, remember this statement. I'm making a memory now, a strong memory. And I'll be able to pull that up anytime in the future and say, oh yeah, I remember when I said, remember this statement. I think that's what I said. See, it works better over the long term than it works when you're doing it at the moment, I guess. Because I'm busy. My brain is working really hard to just do this video, and it doesn't need this extra burden of trying to remember what I just said. So obviously this is an allocation of resources. Right now I'm busy making a video, so I have just discovered that I'm not too good at writing memories, because now I can't remember exactly what I was supposed to say. I'll never forget, because I'm busy. Brain is busy. I don't appear to be all that busy. I'm just sitting here talking and moving my hands. It doesn't seem all that busy, but my brain is really working to make this video right. Alright, so anyway, his concept is that this flowy stuff, all this work the brain's doing, all this filtering it's doing, to do this conscious thing, he's saying it is in consciousness and we just forget it. That it flies into consciousness and just disappears and we don't remember it. And I just don't think that works. I don't think it would work if we could actually measure brain waves and all that. I just don't think it would work as an idea that somehow there is there's stuff. I think consciousness is by definition clean, and that's why it's slow. Is because all the filtering has been done, all the processing has been done, and so consciousness is left clean, to be able to take in new sense data, to do exactly what I just described, in the sense that I'm busy making a video, so I can't do memory right now, but later when things are quieter consciously or subconsciously even, now more work, more thought processing can go on, more all that kind of stuff in a different environment, more relaxed environment maybe. But consciousness is it's a bucket, and you only put so much in it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you're doing a bunch of internal thinking, your senses are going to be kind of dull, and if you're doing a lot of sensing, feeling, your thinking is going to be kind of wobbly. So I don't think there's any real room for this argument that there's a bunch of shit going on that we're forgetting and happening, and so I think subconscious is the place to put it, that it is in some, the filters are out here, and consciousness is this little veneer right in between the filters. The consciousness doesn't really have any, doesn't play the game. It's the projection of the game. It's the image of the brain. It's not the brain. The brain is all the other. The brain makes the consciousness, and the consciousness is just a hologram, or whatever you want to call it. It's a projection of the consequence of smashing this memory data into this sense data, and this whatever pops out of there. But I don't think we're seeing the filtering. I don't think we're seeing where the raw data can get into consciousness. I'm just saying I don't think that's what it's doing routinely. I think what it's routinely doing is subconsciously floating right there on the bottom, and in circumstances where it might be urgent, where there's a tension or an urgency, or now I'm worried that the video isn't going to come out right, my subconscious might have a program that says, well, this really isn't a cooked idea yet, but throw it up there because we're panicking now. So let more stuff fly into consciousness. You know, even though it might not quite be cooked, it might be a little raw, a little too pink in the center, a little too hard, you know. But to let it in, because there's a panic, there's a necessity. So the idea might be that in these stressful circumstances, more gets let in, because the brain's just sort of panicking for an idea. It's saying, "Give me anything, okay? I don't need a great idea. I just need any kind of idea because I'm in big fucking trouble." So it just says Daffy Duck. You know, it hands you Daffy Duck, and you say, "Well, I can't do anything with Daffy Duck. It's not finished. Give me a finished idea." You know, I think that would be more of an explanation, is that what's happening is your brain is panicking, and it's saying, "I got a bunch of uncooked solutions," and so it's giving you the uncooked associations and just say, "Here, have these and see if you can make anything out of them, sucker. But it's all I got. I got nothing finished, okay? You're in trouble. I'm not exactly sure what kind of trouble, because that takes a lot of time to figure out, and I don't have time, damn it. You told me there's no time." Okay, you're panicking, okay, because you're saying there's no time to think. Well, this is all I got, because I have to think to be able to give you something cooked. I have to have time to fucking cook it, bastard. Don't call me and tell me there's guests coming to dinner, so I haven't had time. You know, it's that kind of thing. And so she just throws whatever, Twinkie a la mode. You know, you know, you come up with some kind of crap. And I think that's what the brain does. It just, in stressful circumstances, it just says, "Here, have this. Do whatever you have. Here's a stick. Does that help?" So I think that's more likely what's happening, in my opinion. So anyway, the speed thing just comes down to reflexes, and there's straight routes to having something happen really quick, and then there's the long way around where you're trying to do something really complicated, and so it's going to take a while for you to put it together because it's complicated. So there's simple solutions, complex solutions, there's thoughtful statements, and there's panicked, life before your eyes kind of crap as a solution. You know, and that would be how I would look at it. Alright, so that's good enough, right? I did good enough. That's enough of a video. Thank you very much, and such. Till next time. Blah, 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 blah. Who knows when I'll be, because I'm busy.